Hi everyone, meteorologist Joe Chaffee. As we take a look at the tropics this evening, very busy. We have Hurricane Gaston, which has now become a major hurricane. Top winds are 115 miles an hour and really no factor in our weather. So we're going to focus attention on what's going on in here because we have two tropical depressions now. We have Tropical Depression 8. And if you look closely, and I'll show it to you when we get on the close-up view, the center of circulation is exposed at the moment. The thunderstorms that were over the center have been blown away to the northeast because of southeasterly shear. And that we'll have to see if new thunderstorms fire up where the circulation center is. Top winds are 35 miles an hour, but while the center is exposed, we don't expect to see much in the way of strengthening. Meanwhile, a NOAA plane flying into the disturbance known as 99L, which we've been following for days and days, has developed a closed circulation near the Florida Straits, and a new tropical depression is formed here, Tropical Depression 9. In between all this, you have an upper low that's to the north, in between Tropical Depression 8 and Tropical Depression 9. You also have this upper low that's sitting northeast of Puerto Rico. So just a lot going on with respect to all this turning that we see. Let's look at Tropical Depression 9. I'm going to just refresh the loop here real quick. And it's hard to pick out where the center is because it looks like it's underneath some of these thunderstorms that have developed north of the north shore of Cuba and south of the Florida Keys, where we don't have much weather going on at the moment, but there are thunderstorms firing up here. And while conditions are still not the best as far as development is concerned, once that center gets out into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico on Monday, I would think that conditions will be at least marginally favorable for additional development. And weather models, by the way, have been highly unreliable through all of this, both the global models, which have been, either one day they have a major hurricane or another day they have nothing, or you have the hurricane models, which have been generally more aggressive with this, and so they've been wrong on that aspect too. Let's take a look at the other system, Tropical Depression 8. Here's the close-up view here, and you can see the spinning of the actual circulation center, which is away from the main thunderstorms that have blown away to the northeast. So let's pull up. I'm going to pull up here real quick. We'll get these what we call the spaghetti plots, I guess, and take a look at what they do. First off, with Tropical Depression 9, you can see they track it basically west or west-northwest, almost into the central Gulf over the next 48 to 72 hours. And then a bunch of the models turn it northeastward over northern Florida and then northeast from there, which would make sense to some degree given what's going to be happening here. We're going to have a strengthening northwest flow aloft. So this is never going to be anything that we should have to worry about. A few of the other models take it along a little further northwest and west, but that remains to be seen if that is going to be the case. And with respect to some of the intensity models, just to show you that there's some variation, most of them actually cluster this between a tropical storm and a minimal hurricane. There are a few outlying models that make it very strong, including one in particular, the HWFI, which wants to take it to a Category 5. And the IVCN model, which I'm not really too familiar with all of these different variations. That makes it a Category 3, but most have it as either a minimal tropical storm or somewhere in between a minimal tropical storm and a minimal hurricane between now and the next 4 or 5 days. So for what it's worth, that's what those models show. And with respect to the jet stream pattern, I just want to give you a view here. And you can see what's happening with this big ridge that we have in the eastern states. This is the GFS model. And you notice how the main jet stream as we go through Tuesday and beyond, how it strengthens here in the northeast. That's going to bring in a nice shot of cool air for the end of the week and into the start of the Labor Day weekend. But with that northwest flow like this, nothing's going to be able to come up the east coast, either Tropical Depression 8 or Tropical Depression 9. So we're protected here from mainly from northern Virginia northward into New England. You can't have direct hits from tropical storms or hurricanes with a northwest flow aloft. You need a southerly flow along the east coast, and you just don't have it. Now, with respect to 8, I think there's a fair chance we'll go back and take a look at the spaghetti plots for Tropical Depression 8. And we'll take a look at this. This has not changed at all from this afternoon. They all kind of cluster it off or near the coastal North Carolina and then turn it sharply to the northeast, which makes complete sense given the upper air that we just looked at. And when we look at the intensity models on Tropical Depression 8, most of them have it as a tropical storm up to about 50 or 60 knots. There are a couple of outlying models that have it developing into a minimal hurricane, but most have it in that range of tropical storm strength over the next 3 days. But I honestly don't think it really matters, except maybe for the Outer Banks of North Carolina with regards to how close it gets gets there before that jet stream to the north strengthens everything and moves it away to the northeast. So very, very busy tropics here. You can see a lot going on. There is another system that's going to be moving off the African coast that global models turn into a tropical storm later this week. But I think we have enough to look at right now to keep us busy and not start worrying about that. So that's the latest on the tropics. We'll keep monitoring on this. Don't forget SNS Storm Chasers for all the latest on severe weather. Meteorologist JoeChaffee.com, weatherlongisland.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube account. It's free. That doesn't cost you a dime. It helps me out with my standing with Google. And you'll get all these extra videos that I'll be cutting on a daily basis.